I always appreciate your voice. You seem like a straight shooter, always telling it like it is. What is the Republicans' response to what's happening in America? Because it's bipartisan. When you have your colleague, Senator Tim Scott, saying his experience, I'm worried that America's cities will burn if Republicans don't show up to this battle. So what is the response?
Well, Lawrence, here's my response. I listened to your monologue. I thought it was very thoughtful and thought-provoking. Here's my perspective. Unlike some of my colleagues, I do not believe that America is a racist nation. We're not perfect, but I think we're good. Now, we have racists in our country, just like every place else. There are people in our country, there are people all over the world, Lawrence, that are going to judge you and not like you because of the color of your skin. And there are others who are going to judge me, think they know everything they need to know about me because of the color of my skin. But I don't think that's most Americans. And I don't think that's most cops in America. Without order, there's no justice. We can't have a society without order. And we have decided to hire law enforcement officials to maintain order. We hire whites, blacks, browns, men, women to maintain order. Many of our law enforcement agencies are majority minority. And if you decide, just like you want to judge someone solely by the color of their skin, if you didn't want to make a pejorative judgment about a cop,
right.
I'll put it this way. If you hate cops just because they're cops, you don't know anything about them, then next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. Now, having said that, what we're really talking about here, is the relationship between crime and race. Let's just cut to the chase. It is a statistical fact that just as it is the case that more men than women commit crimes, just as it is a statistical fact that more younger people than older people commit crimes, we have racial minorities and ethnic groups in America that have higher crime rates. We have to, why? Poverty. But that doesn't tell you anything. How do we stop poverty? Nobody, I don't know a single person who's poor who wants to be poor.
The problem is, Senator, is that we got to get to the root causes of crime. But even I love when you say law and order, because it's true. A nation without law and order is out of control. But even within that law, there is due process. Due process for the people that commit those crimes, and due process for the law enforcement officers that have to confront those folks.
Well, that's true.
So it is one thing to confront the crime, which we have to do as Americans. I support the law enforcement officers that do that. But when you show up to the scene of a crime and the citizens of this country has given you that responsibility and you have a bad shoot, there has to be a process to deal with it, which we have a legal process, but Republicans have not responded to that.
Well, which leaves
a void. It can't just be there's crime in America. Crime is always going to exist.
Yeah,
we got to deal with that.
Let me give you two things we can do to reduce the crime rate among all demographic groups, but especially among African American youth. Number one, we're sending too many of our young people to schools that are failure factories. Let me tell you, if I were king for a day, here's what I would do. I would turn to all of the parents of our kids below a certain socioeconomic level of all races, and I'd say, here's the money that the state is putting up to pay for the school that you're going to. I'm giving you the money, not the school. Use it anywhere you want to. If you want to go to a charter school, go. If you want to go to a private school, here's the money. We have to have more freedom of choice and more competition in education. Number two, family formation. Nobody wants to talk about it. I'm not saying a single parent can't be a good mom or dad, but a child who grows up in a single parent family is 6 times more likely to grow up in poverty than a child that grows up in a 2-parent family.
Yeah.
And that is just a fact. And we've got to start talking about it.
Well, you know, Senator, I have been vocal. I've been fighting for school choice my entire career and reforms in the system. So I support you on that. But I look forward to seeing the Republicans form a response. Tim Scott had a bill there, but that is a federal bill. I want to see something on the local level, and I'll invite you on to talk about that later. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Lawrence.